Well, again, a lot of some of the issues that have come to the fore is that a lot of Nigerians don't know some of the things that the president has said. And the big question from some of the critics of your government is that why is it that we get to know a lot of some of these sensitive issues only when the president is out of the country?
That is not quite true. This particular issue has been raised by the president in Nigeria not twice, not thrice. And it has featured in our press statements. If you take the pains to look into press statements coming from the State House in the past 2-3 months, from January, when the killing started, you will find that minimum of twice it has featured that the matter was made worse by killers who infiltrated into the country. The president has said it 2-3 times. I would know because I'm in charge of those statements. So I can confirm to you authoritatively that that was not the first time the president was saying it.
But does it take away the criticism, Mr. Adesina, about the fact that the president speaks more these days only when he's out of the country? I mean, well, this conversation a lot of people have raised in several fora about the fact that the president has not been speaking directly to the country. For example, he's had only one media chat in about 3 years since he got into office.
Yes, but it does not justify your assertion that the president speaks only when he's outside the country. That is not true. The president has not granted any formal media interview, for instance, in the last 1 year. So how can anybody claim that he speaks only when he's outside the country? The president speaks whenever he receives visitors, he receives teams, he receives delegations. He speaks. And he spoke this time when he received the Archbishop of Canterbury. Earlier today, he had received a Buhari support group in diaspora. He also spoke. So when there is the need to speak, the president speaks.
Is it possible that we might be hearing from the president perhaps in a media chat or a more friendly conversation with Nigerians directly in the coming days?
The president is not a frivolous man. Neither is he a talkative. And we also know that naturally the president is very reticent. But when he needs to speak, he will speak. But let me also add that this situation in which some people are lying in wait, virtually laying siege to what the president will say so that they can twist it, so that they can manipulate it, so that they can play it from a negative slant, is not good for any country.
Well, let me quickly ask you. You've heard, you know, Hamad Sakida discovered stories in the northeast region of the country. And he's really made some very far-reaching statements on the situation of the Chibok girls, especially those of them who are in captivity. He did say on his Twitter handle that just about 15 of those girls that we're still expecting back are alive.
Well, there is a formal response to that already. My colleague Garba Shehu issued a statement yesterday saying that Salkida's position is not known to government. So government cannot take the position of an individual and take it as the position. No, until that position is investigated, until it is corroborated, until there is evidence to show that that is the true situation, government cannot take it as fait accompli.
So if the government cannot take the information from a journalist who's investigated stories like that in the past, so what exactly can the government tell Nigerians now about what he knows about the situation of those girls?
Now, recall that the Chibok girls saga had been on for more than a year before this government came. There is something about a trail. A trail can grow cold. It was a trail that was cold by the time this government came. Compare it with the Dapchi scenario. Government moved when the trail was fresh. And so it was easy to recover the girls, save the few that remain. Chibok was already more than a year old before this government came, and despite that, government has secured the release of over 100 of them. So the ones that remain, the president keeps promising. working with the security agencies that they will get them back. As many of them as are alive will be got back. That is the promise. So if somebody comes and says a certain number is dead and this is the number that remains, government cannot take that lock, stock, and barrel. It has to first be investigated and authenticated. And the security agencies will bring us up to speed on that matter.
All right, Mr. Adesina, stay with us. We need to take this break. So up next on the program, politics or not, when questions about the territorial integrity of a nation is raised and capability of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces is questioned, there are issues to be addressed. We dig deeper into the security situation in the country right after now. Don't go anywhere, everyone. Stay with us.